Hello and welcome to Stride ERP training. In this video, I will show you how to capture expenses in the system. Expenses could be bills sent to you by your vendors for the purchase or when you purchase goods or services from them. Okay, so to capture an expense or to create a new expense in the system, you go to Purchasing Hub, Purchase Orders, okay, and from here, you see this new purchase order button, you can create a new purchase order. However, if you have an existing bill that you want to either edit, manage, or pay, this is where you find all those bills. Now, there are two places where bills or two different ways through which bills can be recorded and paid in Stride. One is through the Purchasing Hub module, and the second one is under finance administration, so recurring expenses. Recurring expenses is where you capture or create bills that recur at intervals. So if you have like a utility bill that comes up every month, this is where you record it. So Stride generates that new bill or a new bill. If the bill is the same, I generate it every month and create a reminder or pushes a reminder to you to let you know that this bill is coming up for payment. So let's go back to Purchasing Hub. So under Purchase Order, we'll go ahead to create a new bill. Request owner is the name of the employee is um, that is or is responsible for interacting with the vendor or that has been interacting with the vendor. Expense area is the project that this bill is tied to. Okay, so if it's just regular operations, you can select corporate operations from the list. The phase period is the accounting period. So if it's Q3, Q1, or January, February, or if it's a project, you select the project phase from this list. The start date, this is when I expect the vendor to start the work. End date is when the vendor is expected to complete the work. Vendor is the name of the vendor, so you can create a new one or select from the list of vendors. And the list of vendors comes from your vendor administration module. So here I can create this as new vendor, but for this example, I'll select an existing vendor. So Walt Disney, you can see the star rating and the vendor's details here. So this is a 3.5 rated. This vendor has a 3.50 rating. Okay, so I go next or continue. Okay, and the Stride will go ahead to create the bill or the purchase order. So here on the first page, the first tab, the details tab, I can see all the information I entered earlier on. So the request owner, phase period, vendor, and all this information can be changed from this screen. I also have notes, so I can enter notes in here if I choose. Materials is where I go to specify the items, the goods that I plan to purchase from this vendor. Okay, ship to is pretty much where I select where I want or the location where these goods should be delivered to. Well, let's go to materials here. I add material. So here I can select, so let's do windshield wipers. Okay. So I type the word the letters WI, and windshield wiper pops up. So this is coming from Stride's database. Stride learns. It tries to know what you've done in the past. So as you purchase goods, as you interact with your vendors, it learns and saves some of that information in the system just for future use. So you can see I typed windshield wiper, and if this vendor, okay, yeah, so you can see it also gave me a unit price of 23,000. So I must have purchased this product from this vendor in the past, and I purchased it for this price. So that is why Stride is reminding me that, oh, okay, you know what? This vendor sells this item for 23,000. So if I look at the bill, that was given to me or the invoice that was presented to me by the vendor and the price is a little different from what Stride is showing me here, I may want to reach out to the vendor to know why maybe there was an increase in price. Okay, so quantity, I just entered the quantity. Description, enter the description in here. Uh, if this windshield wiper is being purchased for a specific vehicle or a specific asset, I can search for the asset from here. So this also comes from your asset manager module. Okay, if it's a brand new asset, I can take this out by hitting or clicking in here and hitting the backspace button to get rid of my previous entry and select new fixed assets. New fixed assets. So if this is, let's say, a laptop, a TV, whatever it is, you can select new fixed asset. New fixed asset alerts the procurement manager, lets them know that a new asset has been purchased. So I have a total of 46,000 here. I can add more materials or just stick to the one that I've entered here. So this is for goods. Now for or materials, for services, okay, before you move on, update. Okay, click the update button there. Now if you want Stride, so let's say there was a change here. So instead of 23,000, this one is now 13,000. If you want Stride to remember this change, select update vendor service and update. Okay, so Stride will remember now that that Walt Disney sold this windshield wiper the last time, or now sells this windshield wiper for 13,000 naira, as opposed to the 23,000 naira bill that was being shown, or that was shown earlier. So now for services, okay, you go to the services tab to capture services, add service type. You can select here, so install windshield wiper. So I select that. Again, it's suggesting a 3,000 naira price to me. It's telling me that this person uh, sold the service for 3,000 naira in the past. So I can select quantity here. So I need two of those. Description, I can put the same thing. Uh, again, select the related assets, still the same thing. Okay, I can select or choose to update the vendor service if the price changed, but the price is still the same. So I will leave that checkbox, that box unchecked, and select update. So now we have some other tabs here. We have scope of service, payment schedule, and receiving. And now payment schedule is if you have these tabs are typically used or mostly used if you plan to generate a contract agreement, if you plan to create a legal document um, between you and a legal contract between you and the vendor. So scope of service is where you specify or where you list all the scope of work, so details of what the vendor should do or what you expect the vendor to do for this work. And payment schedule is where you record the payment milestones. So if you're going to pay in installments, you can put here mobilization date, select the date, okay, that you plan to mobilize the vendor. So here I can put 132. Here it's showing me the net sum though. So again, I can't exceed the total cost of the materials and services that I have entered so far is 32,000. So Stride is warning me here that I'm about to exceed uh, the contract sum that was entered. The mobilization, I can put 30, sorry. So for the next line, I can put 30% completion. Okay. So upon I select on the 28th, I expect him to complete 30% of the work, and I can put here 12,000. Okay, so we'll pay him 12,000. And next is going to be, so you can just, basically this is where you define the payment milestones. Okay, so once all that is defined, you can now go ahead and hit update, but we're not going to do that now. We'll just move back to the details tab. Okay, here on the details tab, we can see the contract sum is 32,000. We select taxes, so we want to add taxes, and this is basically what the vendor is telling you that his tax rate is, depending on the region. So let's put 8%. Okay, and shipping and handling. Okay, he's charging you 6,757 naira for shipping and handling. So here we have the net sum. So tax on percentage, 8%, tax amount this, and we have everything that, so just make sure that the numbers here match the invoice, the numbers in the invoice that was sent to you by the vendor. You also select location. So if you want them to ship it to a specific location, you select it here. And that's pretty much it. This is how you create that bill. Okay, you hit update. Okay, to update this, update the bill. And if you need to submit this for approval, you can click the button submit for approval, and it will go to the budget manager for the budget manager for this project for approval. So that is how you create a bill. Remember to add your notes. Okay, remember to add your notes. Remember to, I mean, there are many different options here. You can either use any of these templates to send an email to the vendor to auto-generate an email that can be sent to the vendor, or you can also update the status here, status of the bill. So you can change it from new to in progress. You can print this bill. You can print a contract. Okay, so this is the legal contract I was talking about. So if you want to print one, again, you need to have scope of service and payment schedules in there. So you can print a contract. You can send this through email to the vendor, and you can view comments. You can view and add comments. Okay, so that's how that works. So here I'm just going to click update, and it's telling me that notes cannot be empty. So this is a test. Okay, so I update, and it's telling me that it was successfully updated. So that is how you create a bill in the system in Stride ERP. Thanks for watching this training video, and have a great day.